I
Might
haven't
as well.
scheduled any of these, which means I need to go over to Soundstripe, and I've got to make sure to license these. That's the one downfall of Soundstripe, you know?
You have to license each one?
Yeah, I gotta individually license.
No,
and it's like, it's a pain on my end. But at the same time, I understand how powerful that is for those artists to make sure that they're actually getting paid, you know, accordingly.
Yeah, but
because that's the way that Soundstripe does it, is they do it by actual license. Because like with Epidemic Sound, you download it, and as long as you've got a subscription, you can use it. So you could be playing that 50 times, but one download, and they're only going to pay you for that one.
No, it's in the link. So every time you uploaded it, so at least for MusicBed anyway, whenever you upload, you get a copyright strike against it. So it challenges it again, and MusicBed
doesn't.
Has to come back in and say, no, bought and paid for.
Yeah, and that's good for MusicBed, because then that's them doing that additional licensing. Soundstripe lets you do the additional licensing, so you don't get the copyright strike. And Epidemic Sound, they just give you, basically whitelist your channel. So the Epidemic isn't going to pay them accordingly. It's only going to pay them based on downloads, not actual uses.
Well, for me, Epidemic Sound is just like a sound effects library. I don't know. Do you use it for music or anything?
Not anymore. Yeah, I went all back to just Soundstripe. Just because I found it to be more effective for me. Let's see, this is a live stream. No, that won't appear on TV.
I use MusicBed, but it is very much like a wedding. You know, you can tell.
Yeah.
Heavy towards romance and ambient music and that sort of thing.
You know, the internet is listening to you talking about your socks. Yeah, we're live.
What color are they?
Here, show him what color they are.
Hoist them up. I can't see.
Ew, get your feet away from my face. Oh, all right. Generate another license. I don't want to download any of it. And what's the third one? Better than 2. There we go. Holding my breath and I'm ready to go.
Parents be there right up until serving time with the kids. Big group prayer. Kids, big group prayer. And then...
Okay. I think we are officially licensed. I think. Oh, wait, nope, there's one more I was forgetting. Honey, stop it. Oh, duh, why wasn't I doing that the whole time? What a ding-dong. Actually, I shouldn't have to do that, because that's just replaying the intro. Okay. Now it is time to share this around on the interwebs and tell people over on the Book of Faces, Jarrod and I are live on the YouTube.
What % of your time do you actually spend on the Book of Faces?
I don't know. Out of all of my social media use, it's probably the least.
Mm-hmm. It's still...
Well, not true. LinkedIn is the least. Or Pinterest. But I don't even necessarily say that I've got Pinterest. I like opened something and I never do anything with it. But as far as like the top, what, we'll say 5 with, let's do Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And out of those, if I'm putting them in order of that I'm actually using them, probably Twitter. No, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's probably where it'd be.
Huh.
YouTube, then Twitter. Facebook's at the bottom of those 5.
Not a snapper, I take it then.
No. I hopped on Snapchat for all of about 2 months because it was when I was like, you know what? I could use this for ministry use. And at the end of that 2 months was when Snapchat announced that they were going to do Snapchat After Dark and basically do soft porn. And it was
What?
like, bye.
What?
So
Missed that announcement.
Yeah. Well, and it was the creators of Snapchat, and they said, we designed this app to basically be sending nudes. And that's what we wanted it to be. So we're going to take it down that path with this new Snapchat After Dark.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, you lost me. I mean, if the creators are basically saying we want this platform.
This is the
for
function
all
of this.
sorts of wickedness and depravity. Then at that point, I'm like, all right, go play in your filth.
I don't know. That almost encourages me to go in there and blow it up. Not literally, you know.
Well, like prior to that, I knew that's how they had founded it, but it's like they weren't really pressing into it. They're like, oh, well, I mean, you can use it for whatever you want. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'll go in and I'll be some light there in the darkness. And then all of a sudden, they're like, no, we don't want your light. Stay away from our light. I was like, fine.
Shrieks and shrieks and running away.
That was pretty much what I did. Now I know people that are on it all the time, and it's like, hey, more power to you. If you can do that and navigate it, that's fine. I've also got 4 little ones and a wife around here in the house that are always looking to me like, is this okay? Is it not?
So Jesse's on it. She's got some streaks of or at least had. I think she lost them. They were like 900 days or something ridiculous like that. That's years.
Yeah.
For those of you who do math. Yeah. That is years, man.
No, I think there's a great opportunity there, for people. And me, it wasn't like, that's me saying, hey, everybody that's on there is doing the wrong thing or anything. It was just a case of knowing what the founders were wanting the platform to be.
It's pretty sketchy.
And then knowing what God was calling me to do. It was just looking at him and say, is this a priority? Is it something I should be leaning into?
Right.
And at the time, it was losing momentum, and it had dropped from like the 3rd most popular site down to the 5th. And just looking at social media trends, it's like, nah, this is going to be like in another 2 years, it's going to be a number like 9 or 10.
Well, dude, Instagram, remember when they were doing all the stories and stuff like that? Instagram squashed them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it was during that time. So it was
such a
like,
jerk move.
Yep. And now the funny thing is they're all trying to do it to, they were all trying to do it to TikTok, and it's not working because they haven't figured it out. And now they're all wanting to do it to Clubhouse, and I think Twitter's going to do it. I think Twitter will destroy Clubhouse.
You think Twitter's going to do it?
Yeah, they're the closest right now. They've already got spaces opened up, and I hopped in on one a couple weeks back. So here I've got Android, and I'm at least able to listen in. So it was like at that point, I'm like, yeah. By the time Clubhouse actually gets their Android platform all developed, and the other part about Clubhouse is that they're trying to, the reason they don't want to release it to Android is because Android dominates the cell phone market globally. Like it's 85%. It's ridiculous. Here in the US, it's like a 60% if I remember right. So basically, that any company that does that and say, we're coming straight out, they're saying, we don't have the infrastructure to be able to handle millions of users. So we're going to start very, very, very small, and we're going to go with Apple only. And of course, the Apple users are like, oh, it's because we're the coolest. And it's like, no, it's because you're the smallest. And they're just trying to reach you. So I don't know. It was just weird. Anywho.
I don't know. They do. Oh, go ahead. Got 10 seconds.
We got 5 seconds, so we'll let this intro, whatever it is, roll, and we'll say our thing.
Welcome to the Vlogpastors Podcast, a podcast all about the stories and strategies of sharing God's love in the digital world. Now, here are two pastors that love to put a camera in their face and walk around in public. They are the Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble of digital ministry, Jarrod Brown and Joshua Verwers.
That is correct. Fred and Barney back here once again.
Does that make this a rerun?
It makes it a redo.
Part deux.
Yeah, we have no idea what it was. We were just getting ready to go live here a little bit ago, and I was like, oh, I need to adjust some. Oh, it was the licensing, and I saw that it was episode 40, because this is episode 40 of the Vlogpastors Podcast, where we just ramble on because we can, and that's the stuff we like to do.
And apparently we're early by an hour, Dean says.
Are we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Time change. So, Dean, did you not change your time over, or what? Are we early?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Dean's saying, oh, yeah, time change. Hello, fellas. Hello. By the way, time change. I want to come back to time change. Let's go to the redo episode. I forgot to do the things and the stuff. Although even looking at my YouTube channel and like what I put out last week, like that was some crazy stuff. I didn't realize until just now, looking back on that, in the videos. We had I think I did, like 2 vlogs. Was it? Or no, it was a vlog. I did a vlog. I did a What Joshua video. I did
you just did a digital ministry
shorts and 2 live streams.
Mm-hmm.
That was cranking out the stuff, and that was even with a funeral last week too. So it was nice and busy. But in all of that, after we had done the episode, and I was like, oh man, I really got to get new descriptors for our intro done. Yeah, I didn't do it. So
dude,
we didn't have any.
There is so much. So I've been spending the last 3 or 4 days as I'm watching all your videos come out. I'm like, man, should be making a video. I've got them in the editing queue, but I've been trying to get the new format on board, which I guess we could chat about today, which is similar to yours, because that's kind of where the old YouTube's is right now.
Yep.
And it's the pre-planning, the pre-production phases of all this. It's taken like 2 days just to get mined on paper, ready to film. Whoops.
Yeah. Well, that was like with the relaunching the digital ministry podcast. That was one that took me, I think, a week plus with everything. And I was getting ready to roll in because I wanted to start it at the beginning of this month, the first Monday of this month that would have been the first. I wanted to start it. Wasn't going to happen. It was just like, I think I might actually be a little bit quiet now that I'm looking at this. Here, hold on. Jarrod, say something. I want to make sure that you're good.
I hear you just fine. Okay. But I don't know how everyone else does.
I was listening to this the other day, and my volume levels seemed really low, and it looks like what I did, I think, was I lowered them when we were having issues, and it was pulling you in through the Rodecaster, but now it looks
caught in the vortex.
Much gooder. Before we do that, I'm going to cycle through just to make sure I got the same thing, because you change a scene, and I think the audio levels apparently don't change at all.
That was a good-looking picture right there.
I don't even know what it was.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
All right, I don't know what we're doing. What was the one that you liked?
The one of full screen me, but I also like the flip again. That one there. That one.
Yeah. The behind the scenes.
I like the behind the scenes, but I like the kick up of the. Hey, that's my realtor on that.
So you got to go.
How
about you take this? I'll run a monologue, and we'll see if you jump back in.
Love you guys. See you in a minute.
We watch as Jarrod flees. He takes off and he leaves. The joys of going live. But what I was starting to say was that when I was getting ready to do the digital ministry podcast, you've got, like when you guys are seeing this, you've got all of these overlays, and even over on some of those, and I can show you some of the overlays for the digital ministry if you haven't kind of seen what that is. I mean, I've got stuff like, okay, that's still the pre-show, but I got this nice little ticker that's going down on the bottom, and some of that behind the scenes and just the overlays. When you start messing with a lot of that stuff, it just requires a little bit of extra time. And I also noticed that in just kind of coming up with the concept, how am I going to record this and what am I going to do with it? That became a little bit of a challenge as well, trying to figure out, okay, I want to record a live stream, but I don't necessarily want to put the whole live on like the audio only podcast, because I knew like for the live stream, especially for the digital ministry podcast, digital ministry show, which I had to separate those in my mind. So the live stream is the digital ministry show. The audio recording at the beginning is the podcast recording. So that's the digital ministry podcast. But for the whole show, I knew I wanted to do like, you know, some Q&A stuff and some interacting with you guys. And I didn't want all of that to go over, you know, audio only. I figured, hey, why not? Let's keep that kind of live stream exclusive for those that are there, which, by the way, live stream exclusives for those that are here joining us live. Make sure you say, hey, make sure you say what's up. Let me know that you're here. Love to see you guys. Love to interact. And for those that are catching this on the replay, well, leave us a comment down below and say, I don't know, something like the redo, you know, since this is kind of a replay of the intro. We're episode 40, but it might actually have been episode 26 the second time. Have no idea. David Rowland saying, what is up? Good to see you. Glad you were able to join in here with us. Jason Remster as well saying, I made it. Hello, guys. Henry, what's up, boys? Well, you only get one of them right now. The other one, he has flown the coop. We just have an empty screen of where he used to be. Jason saying, congratulations on number 40. Thank you so much. It's really kind of crazy to think about this, that Jarrod and I had a few like live streams that we were doing that we weren't even calling, you know, Vlog Pastors Podcast. It was just, you know, live streams. And I think that puts us, I mean, obviously 40, if we do 40 weeks, we've been doing this thing for about a year. So pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Dean saying that my province, Saskatchewan, doesn't change and it's nice. I'm envious because I think that daylight savings is an abomination. I think daylight savings should be done away with completely. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I understand why they started doing it, especially, you know, agricultural reasons, farming community, being out there for harvest time, wanting as much daylight as possible. But I mean, we got a lot of farmland around here in Iowa, and every single one of them have headlights on their tractors and their combines, and they don't need daylight for it. They're actually out there before daylight even hits. So it just doesn't make any sense. Do away with daylight savings time. That way we don't throw people for a loop when it seems like the Vlog Pastors have gone on an hour early. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We should start a petition. Now there is a proportional coffee-size mug to his coaster this week. Yes, it's pretty proportional. I would say it's not my giant one. So yeah, that's what it is, which is absolutely delicious too. Rocking some golden girls. See? Squad goals. Real squad goals. Have 4 or 3 extra friends like that. Thank you for being friends. Mama saying, hey, what is up? Good to see you as well. While I pulled her name up, hey, if you guys didn't notice, write down like here. You see that thing? That little buymeacoffee.com/Joshua Verwers. There's also a link in the description if you're over here on YouTube, which you should be. And if you guys are loving the channel, want to support it, you can go ahead and buy me a coffee over there. I'm kind of waiting for the first one to do it when we're actually live and rolling, because we've had a few of them that have hit at the end, because I always mention it at the end. And then what winds up happening is the extra. Like, if everything is set up and working properly, somebody buys a coffee while that thing is on the screen, and then, like, over top of the center comes a little notification, and there may be some, audio sound effects that go with it. Just maybe. So, if you guys want to support, that's how you do it. buymeacoffee.com/Joshua Verwers. And don't forget, if you didn't watch Jarrod and Jessica's State of the Union from last week, buymeacoffee.com/BiteABrownie, and you can buy them a coffee, which buying them coffee means you're really just buying Jessica coffee, which means you are paying her off so they do a weekly live stream. Link for that down in the description below as well, so make sure you do that. But I don't have an overlay for them. I wonder if I could run 2 overlays. I might have to try that sometime. We will see. Let's see. John Hayes saying, yeah, most of what About a Brownie and I were asking had nothing to do with the podcast. Yeah, that would have been over on the Digital Ministry Podcast Mondays at noontime Central right here on the channel. I would completely agree. Most of what you and he were talking about during that time had absolutely nothing to do with what we were talking about. And speaking of which, there he is back. He says, you might need to ask if anyone actually said the Prius of Preachers sent us. No, I don't need to ask because I saw it. It was you went over to Vaughn Sanders' page and you said the Prius of Preachers, and he was lost. He had no clue what was happening. I died. I was on the couch laughing hysterically for like 10 minutes. It was just, it was amazing. So well played, John. Well played. Okay, let's see. Indiana didn't do daylight savings time when I first moved here. Then they switched. Yeah, see, that was weird to me because I had a supervisor back in the day when I was working for Pitney Bowes, and he was from Indiana, and he was complaining about how when he got here, that was the thing. He hated daylight savings. It was throwing everything off, and he's like, where I grew up, it wasn't. But he was kind of telling me, if I understood it right, there was a section of Indiana that still stayed with daylight savings and the rest of it like went away, or maybe vice versa. I don't know. Anyhow, Jarrod, you're back. You're back, but you don't have any audio.
Okay.
Hello,
you everyone. Yes. Hi. So, yeah. Do we like daylight savings or no? I'm not personally a fan. What did everybody say?
We were just reading through all of the comments of everything, and I was just buying time until you got back, hoping you would get back.
Hello.
Because if not, we were just going to stare at an empty screen.
My apologies, guys. I try and push all phone calls, but that was, and I don't even look at them whenever they come in, but that one caught my eye, and it was the real turd, so There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm just taking care. I keep looking over, and I've got weird.
Did I miss coffee?
What coffee? Me promoting your Buy Me a Coffee and my Buy Me a Coffee?
No, but now that you mention it.
You did miss that. You did not miss a floating coffee hand,
That's
and you didn't
what I
miss
thought I missed.
And you didn't miss anybody buying me a coffee yet.
I want to see what happens.
It's going to be interesting. Somebody, I'm sure, is going to do it sometime or another. It may be 4 episodes down the road, but it'll eventually happen. Which, hey, let's get onto this, because one of the things that we were, and this is going to be a smooth little self-promotional segue. One of the things that we were talking about is like workflow and stuff a while back. And I was talking about the Trello board, and they're over on Buy Me a Coffee. I've shared my Trello board, and it's there. So, I mean, if people want to know what I'm doing at any point in time, if you saw it when I first uploaded it, it has changed now. There have been other videos and ideas that are moved.
Can you click back into that board?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
You should be able to try it right now. Try to pull it up and see if you can do it.
No, you got me back into Trello, man. I saw that and I'm like, brilliant, stinking brilliant.
Yeah,
the way that
you should be able to pull it up and do all that thing. And I mean, at some point, if I actually had this set up in a proper way, and I don't know if I do, but like initially I had one of these like share screens to where you and I could, look at something on the screen and at the same time be. I don't know where I create.
I'm still looking. Oh, there you are. I'm new to this whole buy me a coffee thing. There you are. Hey, there's my guy. Now, click on his face. There's his face. Woo! Beautiful board. You want me to share screen on this?
Well, I was going to see if I could pull this up, actually, and I can. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to create a brand new scene for us just right now, and then we will do this. And actually, here's a little bonus for those of you. I'm going to go even one further, and I'm going to show you a live demo mode of what I'm rocking with here on Ecamm.
Show it.
And how I'm going to build out another scene. So I'm going to put this right below here. I'm going to add this new scene. We're going to say the source is
that live, Dean, or is that just coming through on my watch? Because if so,
share screen.
You the man. Also, I think you bought me a coffee last time, so
we're going to do this little share screen here, and then I don't want. Wait, how do I? Oh, I know. Overlays, new camera overlay.
I didn't see the YouTube shorts.
Let's add me.
TikTok.
And I need to minimize that for a second. We're going to make me a round. We'll drag me up here. We're going to add Jarrod as another camera overlay.
This is what won me over. This is what has me contemplating spending $1,000 on a used Mac.
Drag.
Look how fast he's doing this. He's doing this on the show.
Pip, and then I'm going to pull up.
If any of you who work with OBS, which I would imagine is half of you out there, any of you who's working OBS, look at this. This will make you never go back. You know how long this would take? And then your stream would crash. Wait a minute.
Nope, we're still good.
Okay, I was just going to say, I saw myself starting to jitter. Look at that.
We are still good. It's just pulling up. This is the only downfall of this being a used Mac.
I'm going to fall into the hole. The
black
hole.
Because it will do it, but I can click buy.
Now the white hole. I'm being sucked towards the coffee.
Me a coffee. I'll turn my overlay back on just in case somebody does buy it while we're live.
While he's doing that. Dean, look at this man working. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. If you go to the oh no, never mind. You're building something. I was gonna say, do the behind the scenes thing. Whenever I talk about the rocket ship, it is a stinking rocket ship. He's sitting there in the cockpit of a rocket ship,
and just kind of rolling and stuff.
Yeah, and he's got the gift of gab, so he's entertaining you and talking to me and doing 9 other things. My brain's like, focus on one thing at a time. My watch goes off. I'm out of it. Dude, David Rowland knows all about OBS.
OBS. I mean, hey, OBS can do so much more than what BMac does.
Wait, no, Ecamm.
Or yeah. It does so much more. I was just looking at the BMac and where's my page?
But look how easy this is. User interface. User friendly.
Oh, and by the way, did you see this this messages over here?
No. Where are you pointing?
Right there. Right below my face on the BMac page.
Oh, on the BMac page. Gotcha.
It says
Can you send
message.
That to full screen?
Can I do what?
Can you send that to full screen? Is everybody seeing what I'm seeing? Because I'm still seeing your Ecamm control panel.
Oh, you are. Yeah. Let's jump over there. Now I see what we're doing. Now I know what you're talking about. Wait. How do I? Output. Let's turn off my live demo mode. And now you guys are back here.
There we go. See, that's safe. I feel safe now. I feel safe and warm.
Now you feel better.
Not skitzing out over what I need to be controlling. All right, we're good.
But there is a way now that on BMac, you can now message. They've got DMs hooked up on there as well. So, bonus. And I've even got a little BMac link all set up on my website as well. So there's a little pop-up there. Man, I've been going to town with this because I love the platform. I love what it's given me the option and the ability to be able to do.
It's pretty handy.
So
Sure.
this one for the Buy Me a Coffee members, those that have spent that $10 a month or more to do that support, they're getting access to some of this stuff. And right here is this behind the scenes, my Trello creation board. And
click on it.
If I pull that up, this should show you what the thing looks like.
I had Trello before this, but no idea how to use it because my brain's just everywhere. And then I saw Joshua's and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well.
So underneath
there
me,
you are.
right about here, it just says ideas. So this is like a list of all the different video ideas that I've got, color coordinated by shows and whatnot in there. This is the short list, what I'm going to be working on here soon. Those that I've already been doing keyword research on, stuff that's ready to record, ready to edit. And then if I scrolled over, those that have been ready to publish and published.
So now that you've posted that, can you ever make it private again?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like where if I'm on your Buy Me a Coffee and I click on that link, it will go to like some frozen form of it?
Yes. Why?
Because I don't know, maybe people don't need to know everything. That's all I'm saying. What if you have a super secret project that you're working through?
I don't care. Steal it if you want it.
Let's pretend that you have a super secret project that you're working through. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, if I had something, which I don't think I do, I can't think of anything that, like, I can't think of anything that I would be putting on there that I wouldn't necessarily be okay with sharing.
Like, I can't navigate your whole board. It's just that one.
The what?
Whenever I set up mine, I've got like my business, I've got ministry, I've got personal. They wouldn't be looking, like if I shared Bite of Brownie stuff, they wouldn't be looking at ministry stuff where I have notes.
No, they've only got access to that one. It's the only one that I've got public. I've got some other personal boards on there, some stuff for church and things like that.
Okay.
So that stuff's not been shared, but that one there, that's the, the video creation board. And so my thoughts are, man, I'll just throw it out there because I needed something. And I had been using this Post-it note, which kind of works, but the Post-it note works better for me with different things. So church over here and YouTube here and then home life here, kind of a deal. Work, that type of stuff is easier for the Post-it notes for me. Like, because I've got one over here that, I mean, this says fix a drippy pipe and sell some gear.
How often do you actually look at those?
Daily.
For real?
Yeah.
I
look at them daily. That doesn't mean I actually do anything with them, but I'm looking at them at least. They're right there. Like, here's one that's going to be fun. Right here, and I'll spin it around so that way you guys can see here. Go live on Amazon.
What?
Yeah. So here before too long, I'm going to be testing out Amazon Live. And that will be just, why not? They gave me access to do it. Might as well try it. So, sounds like a plan to me. But the Trello, that helps me with the video content creation, with keeping track of all those, because I have all these ideas that pop in so fast. And so I think you had mentioned Diana Gladney. She had an episode a while back, kind of had an episode, and I'll do this here. David, he's saying, can you give a quick overview of Trello? Trello is basically a board where you're just pinning different cards on it, and then in each card you can add in, some of the specifics that you've got. So if I've already got that logged out and everything, but basically it would be almost like my Post-it note stuff if I had multiple notes underneath it. So inside each one of those, as I'm going along my process from an idea to then a short list, here's what I'm going to be making. The stuff that I want to do keyword research, that's where I'm looking for my title, my tags, my descriptions, kind of that SEO work that I want to do. I can even in the description start to detail out what I want the thumbnail to look like, or at least the ideas behind the thumbnail. Mm-hmm. And then it'll move on to the ready to record section and just wait for me, where all right, I'm ready to start recording this, move it over into the ready to edit. I think at some point last week I had 3 videos setting in that ready to edit queue. And as you might have saw now, there's nothing in there. But like Diana was saying in her podcast, which is kind of cool because I think I had released that a couple days after Diana did the podcast and had no idea what
they
you,
overlapped.
Jarrod, were talking about. Because you were like, oh, you basically did the show version of what Diana was telling. So if you want more of an in-depth on the Trello, go back. I think it was the March 8th episode of Diana Gladney's podcast. You can check it on all the platforms. It's the Video Simplified podcast. And she did a great job of just organization and becoming more effective. Like that was good.
It was really
Don't
cool.
you think?
She broke it up into 2 parts. First part was just kind of like overall philosophy of you have time, we just have to find it. You also need rest, we just have to find it, that sort of thing. And on the back end, she went practical. And particularly part 2, which is the back half of that podcast, is what you made in all of this with Trello and some of the stuff that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to have those 2 in tandem because it's like, oh, it's the visual aid to the podcast. I thought maybe you guys had been talking and compared notes and like.
No. Like I had no idea she was making that episode, and shame on me. I don't typically listen to her podcast that often. I'll kind of batch those episodes when I know I've got a couple days of doing lots of driving. Then I'll download a bunch of them and start catching up on them. But I had no clue.
Man. That one caught me because that's where I am continually is. Conversations run, pastors, come on.
Yep. Conversations
run long, meetings with people run long, coffee breaks run long, and all of a sudden you have no time or you're editing and that runs long and trying to keep block chunked periods of time and defend that time that's family and defend that time that's God. And so it's that was interesting to me. And of course, I'm a sucker for productivity hacks. And I hopped in there, especially when it comes to video, with people that I know are in it and doing it, that have similar lives to my own. Right. So had me. I was hooked right in there. I'm like, oh, brilliant. Trello, brilliant. I hate Trello, but now it's okay.
And there's other things like that. Trello's just the one that visually it made sense to me. It worked for me. And I've got it on my phone and that's how I'm usually updating it. So I'll just kind of throw in there on my.
It's a digital sticky note.
Yeah.
For those of you.
So I guess I could have even done that where I just kind of showing you guys,
see this.
Some of the stuff that I've got even on there. So the short list and so like if I go all the way over to, let's see, where was there we go. Share a scheduled video.
That was a great one. That was a great video. I think that's one of those sleepers that takes off later on.
So there was like the keyword research that I had, and then the top keyword, can you share a scheduled video? That was essentially what I was going to title it. I think I wound up even afterwards just changing it to share a scheduled video. And that was just using TubeBuddy and looking at it and saying, what's the search rate? What's the search volume out there? How many videos, which nobody's made a video on that. Like, nobody.
No.
Which isn't that surprising to me because I've been looking forever trying to find out how to do that. Especially when I was running the Patreon, I started looking for it and I couldn't find it.
I used it Sunday after your video.
Did you?
I'm like, I know how to do this now.
Yep.
Yep.
And it works. It's a very smooth thing. I've done it with the Buy Me a Coffee a few different times. It's easier if you just do an unlisted video, but with an unlisted, somebody could then just share that all over. But yeah, using Trello for it, it was just a simple way for me to kind of look through, see where I'm at, throw in some notes, whether I'm running or whether I'm not. And so like one of those little hacks that Diana had said was when you have a video idea, note it. You pull out your voice recorder app and you just get it. So that way it's down. And there's a lot of times that I'll do that. If I'm driving, voice recorder, I'll just say, okay, digital assistant, remind me to write down whatever this was. And then it does that. But then if I'm not driving, well, then I just pull out the Trello app and I just add it to the ideas list. So it's just kind of,
I get a,
is it,
Somebody lurking behind you. Who's lurking? What we got? Oh, it's a floating coffee hand. Ah! There you go.
Apparently,
so once a week, it hurts.
When I pulled back the curtain, she didn't like that. So she was going to walk out without it. But so going back to a couple of these comments, David was saying, yeah, Brownie, that's facts about OBS. And that's what I was starting to say, and then my brain shut off. OBS can do so much more than Ecamm can do, but not as easy. It's just like not as easy. Like everything that Ecamm does, I can replicate on OBS, and there's a lot of things I can do on OBS that Ecamm can't do. But it requires so much work and setup for OBS to be able to do this. And sure, it's free, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and on Ecamm, it's an icon or it's a drag and click kind of a thing.
Correct.
On OBS, you have to think through the steps that you put in place that mask something or how you did it, and then reverse engineer how you did each thing if you want to change something. It's a nightmare.
And David, I'm with you. I wouldn't be saying a word if I was using OBS and trying to set up a new scene and do that. I likely wouldn't be saying anything as well. But with Ecamm, it's just like, oh wait, where was I at? Oh yeah, it's my output, and then I change it back to from the live demo display. So it's a great system. I love Ecamm. I've got a vlog out there where I bought my first Mac, and I bought this MacBook Pro just for Ecamm. Like, that's it. I've tried to edit on it. Mac for editing with Adobe Premiere.
You can say it. Nobody's going to get hurt. Let your feelings out.
I was trying to think if there was a better way of just saying it sucks.
No, it sucks.
But there's not. It's just like, it's not good. I can do Adobe Audition with it, and that's kind of okay as long as I'm just dragging over the audio file and not the video file. But a lot of times with me doing stuff for Adobe Audition, I'm dragging the video file in and then just extracting the audio out. So my PC, it's a workhorse. I leave it for all of my editing and stuff. But for using Ecamm, the MacBook, I mean, it works. And the new M1 silicone chips or whatever that Mac has, and the fact that they can just run and they're quiet, man, that M1 Mini, that's really, really intriguing. Like, really intriguing. I'm considering it just for Ecamm.
Same.
Just, I mean, what is it? It's like $650. And it's like when I've already got
Josh, that's when you know you've arrived right there, man.
What?
I'm still piecing together the funds, waiting on the payments from clients to come through so I could pay you back. It's like $650.
Well, it's not like I just have $650 that I'm going to pull out here right now, but in comparison, like, what would that cost for a PC build to be able to be a powerful live streaming setup? You might be able to build it yourself for about $650. And then because you build it yourself, you better hope you did it right.
Yep.
But, I mean, this is a Mac that is fast. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't like Mac, but I love Ecamm. And if Ecamm tells me to go over for it, because I see the value in it. Which, by the way, we were talking about Clubhouse earlier.
Yeah.
I don't see the value in it. So when Clubhouse is like, oh, and everybody's like, hey, let's get on Clubhouse, and all you need to do is buy an iPhone. No.
She might hear you. You know she might hear you.
I hope Diana does hear this.
Just make sure she's not in the stream.
Is there potential with Clubhouse and audio-only things? Absolutely, there's potential. I think that there's potential with everything out there. But if you're not willing to, or maybe it's not even, like I was saying, I don't even think it's that they're not willing. I don't think they're able. Like, I don't think they have the infrastructure or the ability to handle what is 85% of the cell phone market in Android. They just don't have it. So not only did they go with the smallest market there is for cell phone users of iOS, But then they went even smaller and made it invite only. And they only dish out new invites when they can handle more people. So they're testing out the infrastructure. The problem is because they're still testing out the infrastructure, you have now left the door wide open for any competitor to come in and truly be first to market. Because Clubhouse is still in the proof of concept stage. They haven't even fully went to market. Until you're public, nope, you're not in the market. And I believe Twitter's going to dominate them.
This is an organized group phone call, right? From the best that I understand about Clubhouse.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a phone call type chat where it's a few people or a couple people at a time that can talk and everybody else is just listening in. And then they can ask questions and try to interact. It's almost like a live stream audio version. So a live podcast type of platform, which, hey, it has its merit. It has its potential. The problem is they're not going to be, unless they can really ramp up fast, they're not going to be first to market. And if you're not first to market, you're still trying to get the user acquisition. Whereas if any of the big three, like Facebook's already working on it, Instagram's already working on it, Twitter is got it, and they're just starting to roll. I mean, they've already rolled out the viewing and listening capacity to Android users. So they're getting ready to start letting Android users then host those spaces. And I believe I heard TikTok is also working on it too. Plus there's Mark Cuban has an app that's supposed to be coming out. They've been working on it for over a year now. But again, Mark Cuban's app, potential, it's more podcast related. It actually looks like Clubhouse meets Anchor, and they're trying to merge those two together, which could be a very interesting prospect. But with this alone, no, I think Twitter is ahead of everybody else, and they've already got the user base.
Sounds a lot like what interested us about Ecamm Live. Or what's the host where that chat, it's not Skype, that we're always trying to get on that I never can because of reasons.
Oh, interview mode.
Interview mode. That's the reason that we went to Ecamm in the beginning, was one, user friendliness.
Yep.
And two was to be able to call on the audience, like to pull in an audience member who had the ability to go live.
Well, and to be, even with Ecamm, just this little interaction, to pull up comments from Jessica B, the math whisperer, that's saying,
"Go
hi,
back
Jarrod."
To work. Back to work, girl. You aren't supposed to be partying on the live stream.
But yeah, the interview mode, like, so I'm thinking future for digital ministry podcast, and that live show, like, here down the road, once I've got a few episodes under my belt, I could easily see me doing some live audits and channel reviews of people and be able to just send them out a link, hop in, pull them straight on the screen, and then be able to, and I mean, you guys have seen how fast I can build out these scenes. So even if I had to do it on the fly, that's a strong potential. You and I are still working out some of the bugs of Mac and PC. You know, some of the PC users are having an issue with it. You and I have kind of noticed where we've had issues as a PC user trying to go into somebody's that's on Mac, their Ecamm live interview. I, at least on my end, realized that what I was coming into an issue with was the cam link is trying to put out the highest signal, and apparently Chrome, which is kind of how you would log into the Ecamm interview mode, through your Chrome browser. Chrome on a Mac, if I send it a 4K signal, it accepts it. It has no problem. It might even be taking it down to whatever it needs. Chrome on my PC, it's not. I send it a 4K signal from my Camlink 4K, and it loses its mind and says, no, that doesn't work. So that at least was my issue, but we tried that with you, and apparently it didn't work. So I thought I had the fix.
I was just remembering that I forgot to switch it back over, so I'm sending out a 4K.
But with Skype, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like with Skype, it's able to handle that, because Skype automatically is kind of, they're saying, oh, we're only going to take this in.
Yeah.
My guess is what I'm running into an issue with is it's probably a display related thing with Chrome. So it's probably looking at whatever your display resolution is and saying that's the max video signal that we can handle. And then Camlink's trying to throw a greater video signal and they're just like, nope, this is not going to work.
It may be something we need to check into on mine.
So that's my only thought. It's something I found out with. But anyways, that type of stuff, once we get those bugs worked out, I can see that definitely being an addition to the digital ministry show. Because it's just some added value.
Do you think what is it that you can do, like chats and super chats and that sort of thing? Is that 10,000 or something like that? Where people can,
I believe super chats come in once I'm monetized.
Once you're monetized. So do you see your Buy Me a Coffee taking a back seat to your chats and super chats on live streams?
Buy Me a Coffee is where the membership site's going to be. And I just noticed, now here's where I've got to do some thinking, because I just noticed that this week Buy Me a Coffee did a bunch of updates. So they've got some extra WordPress integration, which is why I've got it up on my website. They brought in DMs, which is amazing. That's going to be very helpful because, of course, why would I not give my, faithful financial supporters kind of preferential treatment when it comes to DMs? Like if I get multiple DMs at the end of the day that are here on Instagram and Twitter, and then there's some on Buy Me a Coffee, I'm going to go to Buy Me a Coffee first. So that's kind of neat. But they also opened up membership tiers. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about that because I didn't like Patreon's membership tiers. Now, I don't have to use those tiers. I can leave everything there. But it's nice that they're allowing more tools and more options, especially for membership sites. And it works. I think the thing I love most about Buy Me a Coffee is it's like that equal balance of the creator and the supporters. So it's like with Patreon, it's telling me if I'm the supporter, you have to pay this on the first of the month, every month. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter when I get my checks and finances in and when I want to set it on my budget. It has to be there. Buy Me a Coffee, they're like, whatever day you sign up, we're just going to take that out every month on that day. So you determine when you want it to come out. And to me, it was like, well, that's definitely a whole lot easier. So I appreciated that. And then at the time, like with Patreon, it was really kind of odd for those that were wanting to support at a different level unless I had that level created. Mm-hmm. Whereas Buy Me a Coffee was kind of easy. So not all of my members are doing the $10 a month. There's a few of them that are doing more than that. And they just typed in whatever they wanted that month. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
So when I get the monetization enabled, I think it's not like I'm going to put, Buy Me a Coffee on the back burner at all. I think it's just another revenue stream, and it'll be all depending on where people are at. If they want to give super chats, it's an easy kind of integration and setup there with YouTube that they can do that. But like with the Digital Ministry podcast, where I'll be multi-streaming YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever else I decide at that point, that's going to be one of those that the super chats are only going to be able to come in directly from there, whereas the Buy Me a Coffee will come across everywhere. So I don't know if that answered the question.
Hey man, Buy Me a Coffee is awesome. Which because I think you mentioned this to me and Jesse to consider maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Has it been that long? It's been a long time. It was
before I launched my Buy Me a Coffee. I was still working on Patreon and figuring that out. And I was like, hey, you guys might want to look into Buy Me a Coffee because it's kind of on brand for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm hesitant. I still am. I've always been hesitant about any sort of monetary exchange for the hobby / ministry, freely given type of thing online. And I don't know. I like Buy Me a Coffee because it doesn't force anything on anyone. If you want to buy us a coffee, buy us a coffee. If you want it, if you support or want to support the ministry, the couple, if you just want to be silly. You can throw it, throw $5 our way type of thing. And, or if you just need a shout out, that sort of deal. It's been a really non-invasive platform opportunity, whatever you want to put it, because we started ours. I started mine last week. Was it last week? As a joke to rib Jessie, because there was no way she was going to get on a live stream with me after quarantine.
Yeah.
Dude, I broke her in quarantine. She did not want to get on one ever again, because those can be stressful from time to time when you're not, especially married husband and wife dynamic. You're not jiving and you're getting into an argument, and now you're passive aggressing the live stream, and people are hopping onto the middle of a fight, and you're having it out. And so she was like, I don't want to live stream. It's too much. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. So maybe once a month. And that's where, tongue in cheek, I was like, well, let's buy her a coffee. I set it up 5 minutes before. And some of you guys who are in here today supported, and thank you so much, because you logged on to nothing and you bought a coffee. There was nothing there. I don't have the perks and behind the scenes of all this stuff.
There was nothing.
There's literally, I set up 5 minutes before the show, but the response was such that, it motivated Jessie to say, oh, I could do this. If I'm going to be able to buy a coffee or be able to sit down every week with the funds that were were given last week to enjoy this, then I'm in. I'm like, okay, this is a neat little deal. So.
Yeah. And I love how quickly that came for you guys. But I mean, and then again, you mention it. And of course, I was there in the live, and I'm asking questions. I'm like, so how many coffees will it take for a weekly live stream? And are we talking like 3 coffees per week? Okay. Then it was like, I wanted clarification, because I knew if I was willing to do something, I knew there were others that were willing to do something. We wanted to see you guys live. We want to see you consistent doing live. So money talks.
With my
talks.
wife especially. I'm a big believer. This is so messed up. This isn't a blanket statement for everybody, but pretty much everybody can be bought. You have a price.
Yeah, everybody's got a price.
You can feel the nudge of like, oh, I need to do this. My wife's price is very, very low. It's like gum, some trinkets and stuff, a coffee, that type of deal. So
that's funny.
It's just the husband knowing the wife well, going, yeah, we can get her on board for about $15.
Yep. Oh man, it was perfect. And when I was checking it out, I was like, oh hey, it looks like we've pretty much got you guys covered, at least for the remainder of the month so far.
I think that's what she's agreed to. She's gonna do a month's worth of episodes and see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the time, you didn't even have, like, when it first started, you had no membership tiers going. It was just buy me a coffee. There was, like, nothing on there. There's think nothing. We had a picture of you, and you might have adjusted the color. That was about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was 5 minutes prior to launch, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this because she doesn't know it's coming. I'm going to throw it in the episode. Nah.
Yep.
Well.
So, yeah, I think we've got you all covered.
There will
on that
be,
for
though.
Sure.
There will be, though, because I like what you have set up. I like that I get to see a little bit of behind the scenes, but it will probably be more, since we've started this around the State of the Union show, it'll probably be more State of the Union specific. So the behind the scenes of, getting set up, the arguments that we've had throughout the week, the questions that we may bring up, that type of thing.
Well, you can
an opportunity to ask those questions.
Yeah, you could do some of that, but you could very easily just kind of make it as well, where like the membership section of it could be more behind the scenes stuff. And I think that's the thing that, like, it took me a while to realize with the Patreon, and even now doing Buy Me Coffee. It's like, what am I okay actually putting out there? And at the same time, what is not going to take me a lot of time to put out there? So how can I provide more value to the members without it taking a lot of time from me? And the reason is because that the whole concept behind it is to help support what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And if it winds up taking too much time, then I'm not able to continue what I'm doing. And that was where I ran into the dilemma on Patreon. But with this, it's like to give, to share my Trello board, that takes nothing from me, but it adds a lot of value, to people that are wanting some of those productivity hacks.
I'm a
to share some
of it.
Yeah. To share some of the behind the scenes, like when I did the behind the scenes setup of making my TikTok videos. They sent me a message afterwards and they're like, what? You can use a piece of what is it? Foam board as a lighting source. They're like, what? You've got all these lights and that's what you're using? I'm like, yeah. Because I don't want to have to take one of the lights and move it around, and I just throw a piece of foam board up on the other side, and it's a bounce board. Little things like that it took me no time at all. I mean, I think that was a 1.5-minute video or 2-minute video, something like that. Just pulled out my phone, record a little behind-the-scenes setup. I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, I do this. Everything was all set up. It was easy.
Even my wife has been... Not to boost your ego here, but even my wife's been benefiting from watching some of your stuff and learning from what you're sharing, and particularly shorts. I don't know if you've ever seen her channel, but she does math-specific stuff.
I saw her releasing some math shorts.
She was doing shorts, but she didn't exactly understand that shorts were a vertical form. So she may do that, but she with math, you've got a whole lesson, and she was realizing everybody's got this. Like all math teachers in the world are doing that. So she did an idea where she's doing a problem, or she's doing an idea, a concept in 30 seconds or less, or 60 seconds or less, and she's doing shorts with it. And they're entertaining, and some of the schools around are using her content. It's like, neat to teach their classes, whatever it is, math term in 60 seconds or less. Yeah.
That's awesome. And one of those things that I'm actually working on, it's one of the notes I've got down here. I don't even have it over in the Trello app yet.
Those shorts, man.
Hold on. Post-it note done.
What'd you do? Check it off the list.
That was how to share a scheduled video. So it was like, oh, that one's done. But no, one of them that I was going to be doing is, especially with Adobe Premiere Pro, they have that auto reframe sequence. And I have used that to make shorts from my widescreen videos in the past.
See, okay, maybe in another live stream or maybe after this, you need to show me how that works. Yeah. I've seen it, or I'll just Google it. But if you know offhand, that's what I was trying to get her to do with some of her content. I'm like, you've already made it. Just track it.
Super easy.
Super easy?
It's ridiculously easy.
Okay.
Yeah. So for those that are using Premiere Pro, so I got to get that one out there as well. Hey, I want to get some of these other comments, and then I want to chat with you about something else. How much you got time, by the way?
Let's do it. I got a little bit of time today.
Okay. So let's see. I was looking at Dean saying that multitasking is overrated.
When you were running the rocket ship.
Yeah, probably. Okay, John saying, I just looked down at my Post-it notes and realized I finished what it said over a year ago.
That's me, John. Yep. Like, what's the point of a Post-it note? It just collects dust on my monitor. And eventually I clean house every 3 months and go, never got to it.
Mom's saying, Josh, didn't you used to make fun of my to-do list? I absolutely did and still do. If I do something not in my list, I add it later. I am getting credit at the end of the day. Your posted notes are similar.
Preach, Deb.
My posted notes are project related, not daily task related.
Tell him about it.
And I can't do a daily task related post-it note, because if I did, I would have post-it notes for first cup of coffee.
See how he reshapes
second cup of coffee, 18th cup of coffee, fourth bathroom break.
You got him, Deb.
David Rowland saying, I hate sticky notes. It's one of those, I tried Trello early, didn't work, but now it might for me. Trello, when it was early on, it was a little odd, but I think what really helped me was doing Trello on the desktop to look at it, because it's a lot easier to look at. And then my mind kind of remembers the layout and the look. So then when I'm pulling it up on my app, it's fluid. That was the thing I think for me was the real change when I started doing it on the desktop. And especially once a week, I'll kind of go through and make sure I've kind of scanned it. And is there anything else I need to add? Is there any other stuff that's going on? And then when I'm doing stuff on a regular basis, just pulling it up and adding it in. So it helps. But the desktop
Still working
really
through like redundant placeholders. You have ideas ready to film whatever, right? Don't you find yourself just like you put them in a section that isn't really necessary? It's kind of redundant. Like for me, whenever I go,
skip it.
Well, that's the deal. Like I skip ready to film. Like, okay, great. I put it into the film category, but by the time it hits film category, all of my ideas are ready to film. They're film. And then it skips over to editing, so it's like I get lost in all that.
And it depends. Like, so the ready to record for me, or what is it? The keywords and the research. I skip over that with all of my vlogs. It just goes from the short list straight to ready to record. And sometimes some of those vlogs come out and they don't touch the Trello board at all. They won't touch at all, and they'll never be added because it was like an idea that I had right now, and I just have to record it and get it out there. So my camera becomes the Trello board at that point. So some of those, that's what I'll do. Or I've started to use it for some of the vlogs, and it's not on this Trello board, but it was one of my others that I was using with video creation, where some of the vlogs I had like 3 recorded, and I put those in ready to edit. So I saw I need to get this edited and sent out there, because prior to that, I just wouldn't. Like, this would have come in handy so much back in December for me had I really been leveraging it and using it, because we were all over the place on things. And it was like I had stuff on this app and that and my desktop and in folders. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
It's funny. Multiple wars, but I have PTSD from Vlogmas.
So do I. Like, I'm not even going to think about next month at all. It's not even a month. It is March 2. That's what it's going to be. Or early May. So, John saying, otherwise my Evernote is a jumbled mess. Yeah. Yep. And no, I did not want to say her name because all of our devices might have went off. So I just said, okay, digital assistant. Tectonic with, I have no idea what that face is in regards to, but I love it. Dustin saying, yo.
What's up,
and I
Dustin?
saw another one from Dustin down here. He said, I bought the Browns coffee and don't even buy my brother a coffee. Hee hee. This is true.
Stirring the pot.
This is true.
We can count on you, man.
Hey, you just love them more, and I'm okay with that. Dean saying, I'm getting an M1 Mac Mini this week. Been doing everything off my iPad for the last year, which has been okay, but I'm excited. Oh, Dean. Your productivity, your efficiency, going through the roof. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. We did talk about Jessica saying, hi, Jarrod. I don't know who this Jarrod is, though, because I've got this guy next to me that's a bite of brownie.
You got to dig in on that one, huh? I don't blame you.
Every now and then, I'm going to keep bringing it up.
I don't blame you because it comes up regularly in our house. I'm like, babe, I think we need to change. And she'll say, no, that's dumb. And that's all my wife needs to say. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. She's like, what is the channel? It's a bite of brownie. Okay.
David Rowland, I did give some coffee prophecy in that stream. Laugh out loud. Yes. I love it. I love it. John saying, I could see math shorts taking off. Yes. Math shorts could really take off. The daily Bible verse shorts do not take off, at least not on YouTube. But because they're not taking off doesn't mean they won't eventually take off.
Right.
I'm going to keep cranking out that content, which I've got to make some more of those as soon as we get all done with this, because I did not make this week's yet. So let's see. He also said, had to do a refresher for something the other day, and I didn't want to search through a long video. Just needed the formula to jog my memory.
Yep.
Nice. And Dustin saying, I'm just gearing up for a fight in May with you, brother.
Are you guys fighting each other?
I do not know. I do know that for those that are interested, on May 8th, I will be lacing up my wrestling boots and stepping back into the good old squared circle in Des Moines, Iowa. It is that organization, Impact Pro Wrestling, their, I don't know, 20th anniversary, I think, something like that, of the first show that they ran. So they're doing a big anniversary show, and I just got confirmation last week that, yes, the show is on. It's going to be their first show back with a live audience, provided everything COVID-related keeps heading down the path it's going. It's looking promising for them to be able to do that. And the way Iowa's been going, I mean, we're rolling out the vaccines. We've loosened a lot of the restrictions. Numbers are still dropping, so everything is looking promising on that. So I'll be there, and I believe Dustin has already purchased tickets, and he's planning on being there. So I don't know if we're going to be wrestling each other or not. I do know if he's anywhere near me, he's going to hit me, whether it's in a ring or not. So it's that brotherly love.
Oh, man. So many questions. So were you guys on a short list, or are there just that few? Also, is this going to be a gentleman's wrestling match, or like, because now you guys are in your 30s and 40s, or is this going to be like, is this a bloodbath? Is this like old school days? Take the chair to the face, lose a little blood.
I have no idea. Like, let's put it this way. There was our trainer, he was running shows prior to Impact Pro Wrestling starting. And so he was just kind of doing his own here and there. So a few years back, I think 2 or 3, he had an anniversary show up in Algona, Iowa, which is pretty close to the Minnesota border. And went up there for that one. I was informed all the way leading up to that it was just going to be a battle royal, which, I mean, that's easy. Hop in, hop out. No big deal. A couple punches and kicks, maybe a poke to the eyes, jump out of the ring, no problem. However, it was like an hour before bell time, and somebody got the wild hair that I needed to be in a tag match. And I was like, wait, I thought it was just a battle royal. And they're like, oh, no, you're going to be in a tag match. And I was not prepared and ready for that. So I am going to be as prepared and ready as I can be for whatever it brings. And I'm good. So just whatever. I have no idea. I just know that last week, the promoter just started sending information out to his guys that are on their roster currently, and letting them know we're going to start bringing in a bunch of the, I don't know what you call us, the alumni, the vets or whatever, but it's like we're going to bring in those guys and then see who wants to wrestle, and we don't know what's going on and who's teaming up or pairing up, so I have no idea, but I'll be there. I'll have my.
It's such a different world to me, because you're like, I don't know, just a couple, over the ropes, poke in the eye, flip-de-doos. Who knows? That sounds terrible to me. I would need to train for a year.
So I thought I would definitely need to do that, and I was planning on starting to train last year, but then I remembered that with the one in Algona, I hadn't been in a ring for over 10 years. And hadn't really thought much about ever getting back in. And then I just showed up, and everybody was impressed, and like, it doesn't look like you've skipped a beat. So I'm just kind of riding on that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same.
That we'll see. That being said,
it's going to be one of those.
I was recording
doing great, Josh.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. And that being said, I recorded my vlog sermon late. It's sitting here waiting for me to finish up editing. And I rolled off the stage and hurt myself. And
That's what I'm talking about.
My ribs are a little sore right now, so it's like, ooh. I'm hoping that's just, something minor.
That's par. I'm talking about getting out of bed without injury, and you're talking about eye pokes and flinging your body around.
Dustin saying, I've already bled Josh before, been there, got the shirt, he has the scar. Yep. So it may be like Hogan and Flair, a bloodbath. It's a slobber knocker. Dustin, you're making your mama anxious. So, and Logan says he's ready to see me back in the ring. So there will be some vlogging in and around there. I imagine you guys are probably going to start to see some stuff coming in beginning of the month that shall not be named. Because I've been talking to them about going in and maybe trying to knock off a little bit of that ring rust in advance. But I don't want to do too much of that because I don't want to injure myself ahead of time. If I'm going to injure myself, I'd rather injure myself in the ring during showtime. So at least that way we've got it on camera.
Hey,
so that's
awesome.
John saying, I walk away for 10 minutes and now the conversation moves to wrestling. See what you get? You just can't leave. Yeah, that's what happens.
Cliffhanger.
You never know what we're going to talk about. Hey, your church.
What's up?
Your setup.
Yes.
Because we were getting ready to go live and you had issues with your audio. What was up with that? Didn't you disconnect your stuff and take it to church on Sunday?
Yes. Okay. So yeah, that's why it was slow going in the beginning. Had to set everything back up. Yeah, you had recommended basically taking my F4, my audio interface, my USB audio interface, for those of you who aren't into the whole sound thing, which I'm not, I'm just learning, and running my Pico mic and some of the other stuff through it rather than going through the soundboard and finding the out and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I did that. I set up, I was telling you earlier, it was a complete disaster. Went up there, started setting up that thing. The worship team was behind. Come on, small church stuff. Worship team is behind in schedule and they're still worshiping. Need them to kind of clear out so we can get stuff. I don't know how to run the board, so I'm needing an out from certain microphones. It was a mess. And we got the stream, which normally running OBS, which is totally set up, runs perfectly without issue on any given day, except for Sunday, pastors. Are you with me? And then I'm running the stream and it keeps on glitching and I cannot figure it out. So anywho, I got it up and running. It's as good as it's going to get. Just went from regular HDMI to Camlink 4K, did the audio from the Pico mic on the camera, just kind of threw everything out the window with it and went after it. And I started getting text messages from folks online. And they were like, we can't see it. We can't hear it. The sound's off. The audio, the video's off. Also, text message. And I lost it. I just lost it. I was so frustrated with the stream. And it ended up coming out. And the stuff I was using and being late and being interrupted. And, all the things that happen on a Sunday after having set it up before. And it worked perfectly. But the things that happen on a Sunday and I just was like, I looked at the camera. Weak moment, guys. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's my defense mechanism. It was embarrassing. I'm looking at the camera and I started addressing the online audience, and I was like, and it's true. There are people in our congregation who are coming out of addictions and bondage, and they're experiencing freedom, and they're saying, whatever it takes to be here. If you're having a Bible study, if you're having a prayer group, I will be here. I will brave whatever condition I want. We want to be in amongst the other believers when it happens. And I just had to break it down and say, there's a difference between viewing it online, although we're in this digital sphere.
Right.
I want to do the best I can to get this communicated across to you, but you're still missing out on what is happening here live. And went over like a lead balloon. I got done. Literally, I said this, and then the stream goes down. I checked it afterwards. I didn't get any more text messages. I took my watch off. I put my phone away. And afterwards, I went back and looked at it. I get done saying it like, hey, you need to come. Basically, you need to come to church if you want to get an uninterrupted stream and be involved in what God's doing right here, right now. You'll get it in a way via live stream, but it's just not the same. Boosh. Stream goes down. And I still don't know, because I don't want them, there are people who cannot come. I want them to be connected.
Yeah.
But I still don't know what happened with the stream. And I do this, not for a living, the stream part, but we do this regularly. What happened? Oh, it's so frustrating. Live streaming woes continue at the church, man.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing like, and you've done the live streams, on your own channel. I've done the live streams on my channel, and the first one, it doesn't go over. Mm-hmm. By the 15th one, you kind of got things under control. And some of us will, to kind of get through and get past that learning curve, we'll do some daily live streaming just to kind of, let's work all the bugs out as fast as possible. You can't do that at church.
No.
And then when you add in all of the other elements, well, then every little element you add adds a layer of complexity, adds more potential for something to go wrong. And then it's trying to troubleshoot all of that. Even for those that have been around here for a little while, we're missing 3 episodes of this because we were having audio issues. We're just missing 3 episodes because it took us a month to figure it out.
Who have we have all of our stuff dialed in and set up, and there's minor changes and tweaks to it, and it still will go down from time to time. Mm-hmm. That doesn't factor in a whole team of other people who are tweaking little things on boards or with audio or with visuals, and the whole thing just is constantly moving.
Yeah, it's so hard. When we were doing some live streams, and this has been a few years back, we were live streaming on a regular basis on Sundays at church, and everybody in the sound booth was on strict orders: do not touch anything, or you're fired. You're fired from your volunteer position. Don't touch it. And there was one person that they had access to push one button. This right here is the only thing you touch. And once you touch it, you do not touch it again, because it's go live, and you don't touch it again. Don't even touch that keyboard, that computer at all until everything is done. That's it. It's set up. It's ready to go. Don't touch anything. Because we had weeks where a little tweak here. Oh, but somebody had commented that they couldn't hear this. And so I started adjusting, and it was and then I would get back there and I'm like, I don't remember where everything was at. And so then it was not only doing that, I was taking a picture of everything. Once it was all set up and I knew it was running, it was this is supposed to be like this. This is supposed to be like this. And still, don't touch it. Just don't touch it.
Do you find yourself going back and forth? Because I do. There's a part of me that just wants to slam up the cell phone, which has terrible audio, which we've been doing for weeks, and just say, you get what you get. Because it's simple, it's easy, it's not going to go down, it's dependable, or some sort of Mevo with a wireless Go or something on top of it, and just letting that be the live stream. But there's something that irks me that I think to myself, I can do better. You can't hear it, you can't see it, you can do better, and it just grinds on me.
Yes.
Do you have the same thing?
Kind of, yeah. I'll go back and forth between that, and that's part of the reason that for the foreseeable future, there will be no church live streams for us. Mm-hmm. Because to get from what I believe is good to better is such a big gap for us, and I don't have the time or energy to do it. And so it's so I do kind of revert to the good, but in the concept of you're going to get what you get. And that is going to be, this is what I'm able to do. And you're going to get it. And if this doesn't work for you, that's on you. I'm going to give you what I can do. And that's all you're going to get. And if that's not enough for you, go somewhere else and find something else. But this is just what it's going to be. So with us, it's going to be these vlog sermons. And all I'm doing for those, it's the message. That's it. It's the message. I'll wrap it up with giving them an opportunity to, give to the ministry and send in prayer requests. And that's it. Because for us to do anything else with the service is a lot more work than I am able to do with everything else that I've got on my plate. And there are going to be people I know that won't like it. Okay, you don't like it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's just where I'm at. So it's trying to figure out, what am I actually able to do? And this is the best that I can do at this moment until we have more opportunity with resources in not just equipment and stuff, but also help and bodies.
Personnel, man. Yep.
And then at the same time, even doing that, like that was part of the other thing. Like the vlog style sermons really work for us and where we're at, and for kind of the direction that our ministry has. It's just a great fit. And that was something that this goes back into, pandemic and starting up with the quarantine and everything. It was like, I can't live stream, and I don't want to live stream. I mean, I could have, and I think I did once, but it was like, I can't do the typical traditional live stream, and I don't want to do that live stream. Let me try these vlog style sermons and just see how that works. I really kind of felt like that was God placing it on my heart, and I tried it and it worked. And let me say the core of our congregation that I was really wanting to make sure that they got this stuff, they loved it. And that was exactly what they were needing. And then we were seeing the reach go beyond that. And that was a case of now when we're starting things back up, it was like, all right, I didn't have the time when we went back to in-person to be able to do both. It was like the only thing they're going to get is what's easy for me, and I'll record the audio and video, and I'll post the audio afterwards, because I didn't want to just throw up a full-length video, with no transitions, no overlays. It just, for me, it wasn't going to work.
Isn't it interesting, just the differences in perspective as well? I was sharing that particular lament with the pastors of the city, and they said, some of them hopped on with that. It's like, I'm frustrated too. I hate logging on and seeing, 3 or 4 people online, watching the stream back. And I thought, whoops, different perspective. I'm complaining about the 50 or 60 people that hop on to watch, the live version of it. And it's like,
right. And others, it's like 3 or 4. Yeah.
And you're putting in the same amount of work for the 3. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all good here.
It's completely different. And then and part of this is, we've talked about this before too, the views. Like, it is so hard for us to focus on views. Cause like I was looking at one of our Facebook lives and I was like, oh man, we got like 150 views on that. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then I looked at the analytics, and like the total watch time for 150 views was like 3 minutes. Yeah. Like total watch time. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. It was a 30-minute, live stream, and we didn't get 30 minutes. Nobody watched it the whole time, or when I had people in the church like, oh, we really want these, can you at least just upload the audio? We'd really appreciate it if you could just upload the audio. And I was uploading the audio as, kind of a podcast recording. And then I would look at the analytics, and 3 weeks later, there was 1 listen. And it wasn't even the people that were asking me to put it on there. And I know it wasn't, because the one person that listened called me after they listened because they heard something weird. It was like, so, I mean, at that point, there are these different perspectives. And that's where I kind of came from. I don't want the congregation to dictate what we're doing any more than we would want our audiences to dictate what we're doing. But we figure out, first, what is God calling us to? Second, what are we able to do? And then how does that line up with what our congregation and audience needs, or what they want? Mm-hmm. And then if we can find that sweet spot, well, sure, let's hit the sweet spot. And if not,
yeah, I'm still, I feel you. I'm still battling that back and forth, especially with the whole transition of our building. Like, how much do I want to put into running cables? And because I would really like to have a mixer, a video mixer, basically, so I can cut to the different camera, which is an extra person, which is running cables, which is, I don't know that I want to get into all that when we're getting ready to, the ongoing thing. But I've got to do something in the meantime.
Yep.
Because there are those handfuls of folks that are, that's their only way to be with the body. So it's just finding, all right, Lord, where in all of this is the sweet spot where they're nourished and fed and we're sane.
Yeah.
And have peace. Anyway.
Yep.
There you
yep,
go.
for sure.
There's the lesson for the day. Don't lose it on your live stream audience.
There we go. John saying actual live views when we broke it down, 70% wasn't even one of our local members. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same.
And some of ours have kind of been back and forth on some of that. There are videos that we put out there where they were all members, and then other videos that it's like hardly any, even in excess of 70%. I mean, a couple of those vlog style sermons we did last spring, thousands of views on them on Facebook. And it was like, okay. And lots, I mean, for a comparison to the channel, even on YouTube, we were getting a lot on there. And that was the thing. Like I had people that after we stopped doing those, people sending me messages and like, where are they at? Like, when are you going to bring them back? I'm like, when I can. And that's just like, I can't give you a date when I can. Now that being said, maybe today, if I get the edit done, don't know. John saying, are you saying that we can't talk you into something for this next month? Yeah. The thing that you want to talk me into for the month that shall not be named, it's not happening.
Ain't happening.
What is God calling me to? What am I willing to do? And you know what? I don't think God's calling me to it, and I sure don't want to do it. So, who knows? There's always August. And maybe I could talk, Jarrod into coming up to Iowa in August for the Iowa State Fair and, hitting up some zombie burger or something.
Ooh.
And then maybe we would have to make a family trip down to Texas and get me some Dr. Pepper in Dublin.
Ooh. I don't know, man. They've been dethroned.
What do you mean they've been dethroned?
They've been dethroned, man. It's just an extensive conversation we'll have to pick up later on, but they were sued for working outside of their radius, which we all know about.
Yeah.
But now they've really been checked. So they've been sued over and over and over again, where Dr. Pepper just basically put them under. Anything that resembles the Dr. Pepper recipe, they sue them again. So they basically, the name of their sodas now are like the one that we don't talk about. It's
that would be hilarious.
It's like the original recipe soda, I think is what the name of it is. It's like a 4-part name. Anyway.
Does it still taste the same?
No, because they've had to tweak the recipe. That's the actual point. And that's why it doesn't make any sort of sense. It's just not.
See, and when that, like a few years back, I think it's been 4 or 5, when there was the big lawsuit that was coming and they were still operating under the name. One of my friends went down there and picked up a bunch of them.
Dude, they were
brought them back, and it was like, it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And they had their second recipe, which was basically the first, just repackaged, was still really good.
Yeah.
But then they got in trouble for that one because it was the same, just different packaging. So now they have basically the soda that you don't speak of.
That can't be named.
It can't be named.
Kind of like us, and next month, it's the month that shall not be named.
Oh.
So, Dustin saying, so when is the wonderful, highly favored, and blessed Brown family coming to visit South Carolina? Just don't say end of June. 20 years this year. Y'all will miss us at that time. Congratulations on 20 years of the marriage.
Yeah, where are you going? Where are you guys going?
I have no idea where they're going. I know my mom is heading that way to do some babysitting, or some not so babysitting, some child sitting.
South Carolina's on the list, Dustin. I don't know.
But South Carolina's on the list after, Iowa Part 2.
Yeah, definitely that. Yep.
See? It's got to happen. They need a poke the bear emoji. That would be, I think you should just change your profile picture to like you poking a bear. Dustin saying nothing is finalized yet. Yep. No, I got nothing else.
I'm good. You good?
I'm good. He's good. You guys ought to be good. I have no idea what we're going to call this episode, but I'm sure I'll find a lovely comment in there somewhere. maybe a poke the bear emoji. Until next time, stay blessed and enjoy God's best.